I called it. I called it.
Did you know?
Yep. Our third episode, we were talking about all the crazy stuff Bill Gates was doing and buying up all this land and all that stuff. And I said, Arizona, you're probably next because they're building these smart cities. Joe, now we know there's wildfires in Arizona, right? The desert's burning down. Joe,
Right.
can you pull up real quick, man? Can you pull up and kind of read off like the details of like where it's at right now, like how much has been burned and
Oh,
all that
yeah,
stuff?
absolutely. And actually, there's 2 fires going on right now,
Oh
Oh,
boy.
if you
two.
didn't know that. Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Oh, I
So anyway,
didn't know that.
yeah, as of today,
Uh-huh.
this is just in fresh off the press.
Okay.
News is still hot.
It's still hot, baby. I can't even look at it barely with my eyeballs. It's like still steaming over here.
First of
But
all,
anyway,
the desert is burning.
Hmm.
Okay.
That happens.
Yeah.
so look here, man. We had a bush that's burning it with Moses out in the desert. So I mean, go figure. So
I
it's,
I guess there are.
things happen.
Hey,
Yeah.
we don't have to be worried till it's a pillar.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Yeah, that's right.
All right. What'd you find?
So as of today, May 12th, 2025, it says there are 2 major wildfires currently burning in Arizona. And they've actually got names for these fires, believe it or not. I don't know if I've ever heard a fire having a name before, but the first one's called the Bryce Fire. It says has grown to nearly 2,900 acres in southeastern Arizona between Fort Thomas and Pima in Graham County. Currently 25% contained, is threatening nearby communities. Started Wednesday near US 70 and the Gila River, classified as human caused.
Oh.
So
Maybe
apparently,
Bryce is who started it.
No, I think normally they go like off of like a city building or a county name or something that's local, so that way they know like when there is multiple ones like California, they pick a name so that they know, okay, this is for this region, this is that region, and they can go and attack which one. So they do normally have names. It's just based on location.
That's
okay. I wasn't sure if it was. I wasn't sure if it was like hurricanes or just going alphabetical order.
No,
So it's a firestorm now.
Yeah.
I think I don't know because I'm not looking at what you're reading, but more than likely what you pronounced as Gila is probably Hilla or something along those lines.
Oh, like it's the
Like a Gila
lizard.
monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Or it's just an
Anyway.
intro to Gilligan's Island.
There you go.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm a prophet, but
right.
You've got some good sources.
Be careful.
It's like it's like they're like, hey, here's the playbook. We're going to show it to you, and oh my goodness, you figured it out.
So it says it has 280 plus personnel fighting it. It says the 2 areas are under set evacuation status, meaning residents should be prepared to evacuate. The next one, the other fire is called Coyote Fire. So yeah,
I bet that thing's
maybe it's like Wile E. Coyote. He done got beat up. It says it's burning northeast of Springville in Apache County, has burned over 1,000 acres. Started Sunday afternoon and spread quickly due to windy conditions. Let's see, it's a stage 2 fire. Restrictions are being implemented today as of May 12th across the southeastern Arizona due to extreme drought conditions. The region is experiencing critical fire weather with high temperatures of 100 to 108 in Phoenix area. Very low humidity as low as 7%. I wish we had that here in the South, but strong winds expected through midweek. And so that's not going to help that fire out whatsoever. It says if you are in this area, please stay alert to local evacuation notices and avoid any activities that could spark fires, as conditions are particularly dangerous right now. So there we go. That's our latest updates on the 2 fires in Arizona.
Okay, hold on. So drought is the issue, right? Like I know not all of Arizona is desert, but I mean a good bit of it's pretty dang dry, like all the time. And I've never heard about fires there being a thing. Now we got 2.
Yep. And as of right now, I'm sure it's up to 4,000 acres, depending on when this article was sent. It was basically 2,900 acres on the first one and 1,000 acres on the second. So, you might as well say 4,000 acres right now.
I wonder if it brings the value of the land down at all, so you could purchase it.
Oh, I'm sure that land has already been purchased. The land that they want to purchase anyway. Yeah. So anyway, go
You
check
know,
that episode out. That was
yeah.
fun.
You know,
Mhm.
it'd be even funnier if there was like the world's largest reservoir of water under Arizona too that no one they just keep in secret, like don't tell anybody.
You know
Because
what?
once
I wouldn't doubt it.
we get everybody to leave, then we're gonna like, oh, look what we found this spring, this what ever flowing water here.
No, nothing would surprise me anymore at this
Yeah, I know,
point.
right?
Like I've even heard it said that supposedly, I don't know much about oil rigs and all that kind of good stuff, but supposedly, everybody looks for land that you know, everybody would love to have a piece of land like the Beverly Hillbillies, right? Where he's out one day shooting at some food and up from the ground come a bubbling brew, right? It'd be great to discover oil on your property, right? Well, supposedly or apparently, there's oil and natural gas literally everywhere. It's just a matter of digging deep enough to get it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like literally everywhere. So
Did you
anyway,
just sing the hillbilly song and you the Beverly Hillbilly song and you said brew?
up from the
Up
ground
from
come a bubbling crude. Is it
crude,
crude?
crude,
Uh,
crude.
well, brew. There's
Not
probably
not
beer
brew.
down there too. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah,
No, it's black like coffee. It's fine. We'll,
Yeah,
we'll we'll let you get away with this one, Kyle.
Texas tea. You got to brew
yeah.
that, right?
There you go.
Oh man.
So
So
wait,
anyway,
so just so you guys know, like obviously Arizona's not just a desert, right? There's all kind of different climates and different
yeah.
stuff. So there's obviously room for things to burn, but it is interesting that those were some of the largest markets where they were talking about growth and trying to build up some new cities there, and as well as they've had a lot of eyes on them recently, especially with all the elections. Arizona's been a little bit of a hotbed for what's actually going on in that in between. It's like not California, but it's not the Texas. It's like what's really going on with Arizona. So it's been on the radar a lot lately. And
Mhm.
it is interesting, like Kyle was saying way back in episode 3, like, what if Arizona's the next place to get hit with a fire? More of just like I didn't go over there and do it. We don't live there, but it just so happened that was the case. It just kind of was very interesting to see that play out the way it did.
Mhm.
I don't know. Nothing new under the sun, right?
I guess not. Well, speaking of fire, when there's fire, there's smoke, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So with the smoke, we got a new pope. He he
Ah.
he is official. The white smoke came out the little baby chimney thing. Not sure what that is exactly, but it's
Have,
a small pipe.
have y'all heard anything about this
Oh, you're
dude?
talking never mind. My mind's going a different way. You're talking about pipe and smoke and pope, and I'm like,
Hey, that's all you.
Put that in your poke and smite it.
I don't know, man. All them 180 guys got together. There's no telling what's going on.
Oh goodness.
No, they did have a picture where they had the Snoop Dogg walking out the front door, and then the smoke was coming out the chimney.
Da 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 da.
They were like, "Oh yeah, we for sure got a new pope."
That's funny. Uh, well, have y'all heard anything about this dude?
A little this, little
That
that.
he is American, by the way,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
from Chicago.
and from Chicago.
Yeah,
The first
Chi-town.
American.
Ever.
And yeah,
Yep.
well, the thing about that is when we had, I've researched it a little bit, and then I was looking at the list of candidates,
Mm.
and they would go through the list and go, oh, this disqualifies this guy, this disqualifies this guy. And when we got to Leo, Pope Leo, they were saying, oh, he can't possibly, even though he's in the running for it, that he couldn't be Pope because he's American. And in their, I guess it's in their bylaws that it says that as long as America basically until America's economy or political power was if it's on a decline, then they would allow an American pope. But if the American political power system is steady and strong, they don't want to have an American pope and then have a very strong American government at the same time. So I was like,
Mm. So is this
oh,
is
but
this a
so
little?
that really surprised me. I really did. I was like, what?
It's almost like a prophecy or something. They're like, "Oh, until America starts to decline, we won't let an American in." You're like, "Oh, look, an
Right.
American's in." We're not telling you what's going to happen tomorrow, but
I don't think it has anything to do with that, to be honest with you. I think it has to do with some stuff shaking out, man.
mm.
especially when you see the AI image of Trump dressed as the Pope, and he's like, "I'm the next Pope, baby. I'm the next Pope," and all of a sudden, an American Pope gets put in. You're like,
Yeah, there's
"Okay,
definitely some
Well,
imagery and some comms being put out.
well, it's not like they have a vice pope. It's not like when if something happened to this one, the next one steps in place. I mean, like, what are you saying there? Because I mean, if something happened to him, like they would literally go through the election process again.
No, he's just saying like just the interesting facts behind. We get the first American Pope after the whole election debacle, and Trump wins,
Well,
resoundingly. And then he's starting to put stuff out, and then he puts his image out of him, aka an American, being the
yeah,
Pope. And then as soon as he gets Pope, like I'm talking within hours, a nice long tweet, or what does he call it, a truth, where he's like, "Oh, I support the Pope. Good job winning. If a Pope from America do make us proud. All this stuff." I was like, hmm, it is very interesting to see this kind of connection that you would never see otherwise. With the last couple popes, it was like, okay, the
yeah."
president would go meet them eventually, but it wasn't like this
right.
whole ordeal. So it was definitely interesting.
I don't know, man. I,
Yeah.
I haven't been keeping up much with it, so I'm glad y'all have a little bit. I really try not to pay too much attention to it, but I did come across one thing that I thought was pretty hilarious. Apparently, there's this video going viral where this girl is like on FaceTime or something with her mom and her brother, and her mom is watching. They're watching like the whole election process or whatever, and it's determined that the guy from Chicago becomes the new pope or whatever.
Mhm.
Well, apparently, this lady, the mom who is being videoed, apparently had relations with the pope way back when, like when they were much younger.
Hmm.
So anyway, yeah. So yeah, the
All the
Pope's
fun.
ex is out there somewhere supposedly. So
Well,
drama, drama, drama.
what I was told last was all his exes live in Texas.
Hmm.
That's why he
That's why
lives
he hangs his hat in Chicago. Yeah, must have got bad up there. He went to the Vatican.
there. It's a little too windy for him.
Exactly. Oh man. Well, speaking of alien creatures that live subterranean,
Oh,
um,
tough.
yeah. You like that? You like
Yeah,
that? Like I did that?
and you
You
slithered right
see,
in.
you see the connection, right?
Yeah, I said you slithered in.
Yeah. So apparently, there is a lady that is coming out as a whistleblower who is, I don't know if it's technically a whistleblower now, but anyway, a lady that worked with the Bush administration.
Do you know which
Uh,
one? First or second Bush?
and I was just about to say, and I cannot remember which one it was, so I don't
Gotcha.
want to tell you. I don't want to just assume, but I think, um, I think it was the first
Okay,
Bush,
Bush Senior.
Bush Senior. Yes, I think
Okay.
so, but don't hold me to that. Apparently, since then, Bush one or Bush two, I don't know. They have taken, they meaning the upper echelon of government, has without any oversight, without any knowing by the people or anything, over $21 trillion of taxpayer money taken from the taxpayers. $21 trillion has been spent on building underground bunkers for the elite. Like you and
Mhm.
I are not getting in. But yeah, imagine that.
Well, if this channel grows enough and we get popular enough, they may wanna bring us with them just so they can have, some relief comedy or something like that. So, hey, let's keep trying, guys. Let's shoot for the stars, okay?
They're gonna need somebody to clean the toilets, right? You know,
That's it.
fix the sink when it goes out.
I could do that. I'll fix the sink. You guys
So
can have the toilets.
yeah, I mean, they're gonna have some average people in there, right? And normal folks like us. I don't know. I just
Uh,
think that's crazy. Like the fact that that much money can be taken from the people and used for nefarious purposes. Well, I mean, we see it with Doge. We've already talked about that a bunch. But it's just crazy how little the people know about what is actually being done with this money.
Mm.
What's even crazier is think about how little taxes if we only paid taxes for the things that the people approved of us having,
Mm-hmm.
what would
Mhm.
taxes amount to? We could probably get away with like 15, 20 bucks per person a year. But I mean, I know
You're getting close.
I know I'm being a little silly,
Yeah.
but I mean, think about it. I mean, there are trillions upon trillions of dollars being spent every year on stuff that we
Stuff.
do not want.
Well, speaking of
Well,
21 trillion, that's more than half of the national debt already, just in that one alone. And then now we talking about tariffs and bringing money back in. You would expedite the whole process by years, months, something. It's going to go in the green instead of the red. But we have bunkers for important people that aren't us.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're wealthy and you want to go do that, go do it. Go nuts. Go build you a bunker, whatever. More power to you. Good job, buddy. It's not gonna hide you from the wrath of God, but do what you do. Um, eh, I don't know. There's got to be some kind of accountability on this. There's got to be some kind of something. Got to be. They got to make it right somehow. Now that they're
well,
exposed.
if you remember 9/11, I think it's right before it happened. There was money that was misallocated, and they didn't. I forgot how much it was, but it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
trying to remember what the name of the guy was that was standing in front of
Rumsfeld.
everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, Rumsfeld. And he basically said, "I don't know where it's at.
It's missing.
It's missing. That's all I can tell you." Then nine
But
eleven
the
hits, and then
information where you
building.
can find it is in this room in the Pentagon.
Well, it was in building, probably in building 11. I think that's a building 11 was the smaller building that collapsed as well. So all the financial records, this is what I understood. All those financial records that would have housed where that money was.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I was under the impression that it was in like the literal room that the supposed plane went into in the Pentagon. I was under that
It could have
impression
been, but
that
that
was
was my understanding was building 11 actually housed all of the financials and all the information for all the money for because it's all connected back to the Twin Towers and all the financial institutions.
Mm.
So when they took building 11 out, it took away all of that information or, kind of covered up literally everything. So yeah. So it's not it's this happen unfortunately this happens all the time. There's
Crazy
always
coincidence, right?
missing funds and we don't know where it's at. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but
crazy how
21
that happens.
20 what'd you say? I wrote down 21 trillion.
Yep, 21
Hmm.
trillion spent on that like doomsday bunker for
Jonathan, I'd be curious to see how high that would stack.
Probably not that much.
I
I
don't know,
forget.
Cal. Didn't we talk about that one time about if you took a stadium or something and filled it with money and
Oh yeah.
how high it would, how much it would actually like, stack up or something like that?
Well,
21 trillion.
I don't think the moon is this far away, but let's see. How many let me pull it up. How many $1 bills would it take to stack to the moon? There we go. All right. Okay, well, I'm off by a little bit. Apparently, it would take 2.4 quadrillion. So, I was,
Well,
yeah.
why use it? Yeah,
But we know the moon's not that far away anyway. So,
yeah.
anyway, whatever.
What you should have asked is how high would 21 trillion stack up if it was in
Yeah,
$1
let's do
bills?
that. Let's do that. Let's do
Yeah,
that. That'll
just
do
for
it. That'll do it.
fun.
Just for the fun of it. How high would a stack of $1 bills be if it amounted to $21 trillion?
$21 trillion.
What? Okay. A stack of 1 trillion $1 bills is 67,866 miles high.
Hmm.
That's 1 trillion. Uh, so the stack of 21 trillion $1 bills would be, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
A dollar bill, right? Like That thin. Stack of those. 1,493,052 miles.
That's like a tank of gas, right?
Yeah. I mean, not in the excursion, but yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
Could you imagine going to the bank going, I'd like to make a withdrawal?
It's going to take multiple months, but I will eventually get it all to you.
Yes.
That's insane. That is insane.
Yeah, it is. I think with numbers, we lose just what that looks like sometimes.
Exactly.
It's like,
You could. Oh, wait. We figured it up one time about what it would take to end like world hunger and poverty and homelessness and all that stuff. We figured that up. Do y'all remember what the amount was on that, or
it
even
was
a
it
general
was in the
idea?
billions.
Yeah, I think it was billions. And that
Yeah,
was
but
that was in regards to what if all the Christians tithed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't
if
remember.
Hundreds
everyone
of
actually
billions, or
tithed, yeah,
was it?
it was
Or
billions.
was it just a couple of billion, or
More than
you don't
one.
remember? More than one. Okay.
Yeah.
All I
Anyway,
know is this: it was enough to end world hunger and have money left over,
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
according to the report. Yeah, it was enough to have everybody gets taken care of, and you still got a surplus.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
now
Just keeping
this is 21 trillion.
you could just go ahead and buy the whole planet. I like to purchase that.
yeah, the blue one over there with some green on it. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm your daddy now. What?
I'm your daddy now. Oh, and just a heads up, I believe that building, Joe, you were talking about was building 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
I
And
knew
you
it was
said,
somewhere in there.
Yeah, didn't want the people going into mass hysteria about 7-Eleven.
Yeah, there you go.
all right, the current, as of right now, current national debt for the United States is approximately $36.21 trillion. Bruh. Now, this was since back in the Bush administration days, right?
Right.
Imagine if this money over that period of time had been put towards that. Just that.
Well, back during the Bush era, I think it was like, depending on which one, it was like 13 trillion. It was a lot less, 8, 9, somewhere in there.
Yeah, there was a big jump during Obama. I remember that.
What? Are you getting political?
Well, just time frame. That's just time frame. Yeah, there was a big jump during that time frame.
Yeah.
Anyway, just crazy.
Yep.
It's almost like the people in political higher places don't seem to care about the people that they're supposed to serve. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
All right,
tough.
here you go. Kyle, I got it. I pulled it up. You ready?
Uh-huh.
If all Christians or people who claim to be Christian, let me say that.
I do.
For everyone who claims to be a Christian, it says
Just in the US.
just in the US.
Just in the US, yeah.
Yes. It says potential impact if all Christians died 10%, it would generate an additional 165 billion annually. Here's what that money could
Annually.
annually. Here's what that money could potentially accomplish. 25 billion could eliminate global hunger and death from preventable diseases within 5 years. 12 billion could eliminate worldwide illiteracy in 5 years. 15 billion could solve global water and sanitation issues. 1 billion could fully fund all overseas mission work. 100 to 110 billion would remain for the other ministry and community work.
Yeah, the other 60%,
Wow.
and that's
That's
just
crazy.
church. That's not even
Right.
taxpayers. That's not businesses. It's just people
Right.
going to church.
Unreal, man.
So no wonder, God's like, if I give you a little, you be responsible for a little. We're sitting there playing with rubber ducky money and can barely get it together, and the government's spending trillions, and we're like, hey, what's going on? He's like, well, maybe you handle your $6, you might end up getting some more money, and then the government's extracting it from you before you can use it. So
Right.
it's like,
Mhm.
it's a lose-lose almost. When the little bit we do have, the average person clearly is not doing that, as Joe just read, or else those problems would be gone. So the average churchgoer is not tithing, or those problems would be eliminated. And
Well, yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say that the problem is you got a bunch of sharks out there that are living high on the hog. When you look at these ministries out there, they're literally buying Lear jets, 7 million, 10 million, $20 million jets, and they've got multiple jets. That means they have to have hangars to put these jets in, fuel for these jets, pilots for these jets. One of the guys even has his own landing strip at his house because he don't want to be in a tube with a bunch of demons. But I digress. And so the problem is you would need tremendous accountability
Hmm.
with something like that. Yeah.
Well,
Go
I will say this for the sake of, could they spend the money on something else? Absolutely. But I will they could be spending the income on something else. But the reason why a lot of these people uh, buy all these private jets and things like that is not even because they want them themselves. They do it for the sake of tax benefits. They're able to get major write-offs and create additional businesses where they rent their private jets
Mhm.
out and all this other stuff, So, I mean, it's a write-off. You got two options. You can either pay the IRS a bunch of money, or you can go buy something to use for your business, you know, and write that
Well,
off. Well, if
yeah,
I
but
have
they're
to
all
choose if I have to choose whether I get to go buy something and write it off or give the IRS a bunch of money, I'm gonna go buy something and write it off. At least I can use
yeah,
it, or have it
yeah,
as an asset or something.
but you gotta remember now, these are all tax exempt.
Correct. But even in tax exempt, like the money has to be used. Like there's all kind of little
Is that a
things.
part about being the separation of church and state and these church programs where they're corporations and not ministries?
Hmm.
You know, maybe
Yep.
maybe
Yep.
we could. That's the
Yeah.
problem there.
That's kind of the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, you sign up to be with the government, you're gonna be with the government.
Ta-da.
Yeah,
Surprise.
Yeah. So anyway,
No, that's a good point, Kyle. That there's more to the story for sure. It's not just everybody's liquidating tithe checks and doing what they want with it. And then of course, there's people that are building mega churches and mega buildings and multi-million dollar projects and stuff like that. Which if we go back to the way the Bible's talking about it, we don't have a lot of that, and it doesn't even really speak to like, hey, if you're a millionaire, like if anything, you look at the disciples and you look at Yeshua, and they weren't living like that at all. You know what I mean? So they're like, hey, do what I do, and we're like, how about we don't, and then try to make that fit. So yeah, like Kyle was talking about earlier, we have some earlier episodes. We did like the episode with Elon Musk, quote unquote, doing a doge on the church, and this would be like a prime example of that. Really get behind the scenes and say, hey, you doing everything you're supposed to? Go to the congregation. Are all you guys doing what you're supposed to? Okay, because this should look radically different. So where's the
mhm.
issue?
right.
Yeah, there
Crazy.
should be no with that amount of money some of those ministries generate, there should be nobody hungry within a 50-mile radius of you, at least,
Hmm.
if
Yeah.
not bigger, you know?
Yeah.
There should be nobody going hungry, people should be getting taken care of, all that stuff, but yeah.
But instead, we have underground cities that can only be used by a select few. So that's fun. You know.
Hey, you wanna hear about one of those underground cities real quick? Just
Oh,
to give
another
people
one?
an idea of how big one of these underground cities are?
Mm.
Sure.
Okay, let me pull it up here real quick. Do-do-do-do.
I know that there's like massive military underground bases and stuff like that, like in Colorado and
Hmm.
like under the
Well
Denver airport and all kind of stuff.
That's
Like
well, the stuff going on in
in a
Denver is
mountain.
a whole 'nother super cannon plus, I'm gonna tell you that right now, that's
Yeah.
they got some weird junk going on over there in Denver, the Mile High area, that's
Yep.
it's a spiritual thing over there for sure.
You know what? Actually, I got a trip coming up. I got to go visit a family member. I got a trip coming up. I don't know if that's where I'm flying into or not,
It's nice knowing
Well,
you.
but I'm definitely taking the GoPro. You know what I mean?
it's gonna be
I
GoPro.
might I might have to spend the whole day if I when I get there just doing the airport just for footage, just for content, man. That'd be crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because there's something under that airport that they're like, this is off limits to everybody. Like, nope, can't go down there.
All right,
So
I need everybody. I need everybody. I need all y'all to do this. All right, so between now and sometime in June, I think it is when I'm going. I need y'all to like really, really be like towards the end of June. I need you to really think about it. Like if there's any specific thing that you know or have heard about with the airport, like let me know so I can try to look into it when I get there. I think that'd be really
you're
cool
gonna
to do.
find out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I can tell you mine already. Go to Starbucks in Concourse C. I have no idea.
No, okay. I'm like,
I'm just
all
like, what's the
right.
most obvious thing in the airport? I don't know. Seattle's best.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right, go
so
ahead,
just to
Joe.
give
Sorry.
just to give you an idea, there's one that says there's a fascinating underground complex in Kansas City, Missouri called Subtropolis. It's known as the world's largest underground business complex. It says it's massive. We're talking about a 55 million square foot facility carved into limestone bluffs, sitting about 160 feet below the surface. To put that in perspective, it has nearly 7 miles of illuminated paved roads running through it.
Hmm.
The really cool thing is the natural climate control. It maintains a constant temperature between 65 to 70 degrees year round. This makes it perfect for all sorts of businesses, and you'd be surprised what's down there. Let me tell you what's down there. Nothing crazy, but according to this article, it says the U.S. Postal Service keeps their collectible stamps there. The National Archives store records there. And guess what else is stored there? The movie companies store thousands of film reels, including classics like Wizard of Oz. Guess, which is funny
Huh.
because we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Right.
So you're right, Dorothy. You're 160 foot into the ground, or 160 feet into the ground.
Is that
So
Well,
where they
it's,
kept all the moon landing footage as well that got lost?
that might have been where they lost it. Remember the guy said we lost it?
Yeah.
Hey, I bet it's there. 55 million square feet. I
Hmm.
bet they can find it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I bet. I mean, that makes sense to keep all that film stuff down there because I mean, one, the temperature is going to stay the same. Like it's going to be the same, and I would imagine like there can't be like too much moisture down there or anything. You
Shouldn't
know?
be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't think so.
That sounds like it'd be a
Yeah, well, I
pretty
would
clean
think
environment.
I would say the moisture probably is low, Kyle, because it says there's also automotive companies, so they're storing vehicles down there,
Hmm.
data centers, and even food storage facilities. It says it wasn't originally meant to be a business complex. It was actually a limestone mine that clever developers transformed into usable space. They are still
Okay.
expanding it too. It says they add about 3.2 acres of new space every year through ongoing mining. So yeah, it goes into further talking about there's like 1,600 people working there, and has a network of railroads and all that stuff too. So anyway,
Wow.
but yeah, 55 million square foot facility,
I mean, can you imagine like you're just in your house, just hanging out, and you got a whole city underneath
chilling,
you?
playing some, Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, there's 18 wheelers driving underneath your feet, just like you would never know. The
You
160
have
feet under,
no
you would
clue,
never know.
no clue.
It's absolutely nuts. Like I've been to some tunnels in other countries where there was wars and stuff. And you're walking and you're like down, down, down. You go way down under the ground. And yeah, the temperature changes and you realize how is this even sustained? You would think the weight would crush it, or you think like, it's not safe anymore. And these tunnels have been there for 50, 70 years. And they're just like, yeah,
Mhm.
you just dig in the ground and you're just good forever. So literally, you never know what's underneath your feet unless you live where we live. Then there's nobody underneath us. That's water. But you never know. It's craziness.
Well, so there's theories out there that there's tunnels beneath the ocean going from, North America to like Europe and stuff.
Really.
It has been said, yes, sir.
Wow.
Hmm.
That
So,
that one that one would be interesting.
yeah.
Mhm.
Now, two things. Two things. Joe, I know you didn't see my facial expression, but when you said Kansas City, Missouri, like that lit me up because I remember just hearing a story. Now, I don't know any of the details about it. I can't even pull it up for you and tell you right now, but So I don't know, like this past week I saw like a TikTok video or Facebook, YouTube or something. I don't know. I saw it somewhere. Somebody was saying that there was an underground city that had just been discovered in Missouri. So this is not like the city you're talking about, like it's a public knowledge thing. Like this is a just discovered kind of thing. And man, it's unreal the amount of places that are being found underground now. Like massive pyramids to this day are being located underground, in places. It's nuts. But the other thing I was going to say was this is, one might have the idea, well, how is it legal that somebody could do that? How somebody could tunnel under your property because that's your property, right? Well, not so much. Well, it kind of falls in the same league of, why is it that for a lot of places or dang near any place, you gotta have a permit to do certain things on your property. Why would you need a permit to do something on your property? Why do you need permission to do something you want to do with your property at all? You shouldn't, right? Well, the reason is this. You own what's on the land. If
Yep.
you own it. If you own it.
If you own it, that's right.
Right. If you own it. If you own it, nobody can, you don't have to pay taxes on it. It's yours. If you have to pay somebody for something you own, you don't own it. This is not
Yeah,
legal
I know that.
advice, but just look into that. Okay. If you have to pay somebody else to possess the item, you don't own it. You are renting it. Anyway, all that being aside, if you have your land bought and paid for and all that stuff, the ground is still not yours. It's why you need a permit to be able to do any excavating or all kinds of stuff. Even a lot of times, even cutting down trees, all kind of stuff. Why? Because you don't own the mineral rights. So there is property, there is mineral rights, land and mineral rights, and then there's also airspace. If you don't own all three, you don't own that space. You just don't. It's why airplanes can fly over your property and helicopters can fly over your property without asking your permission. They don't need it because it's not yours.
So Kyle, it sounds like the only space you own is what's between your ears.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
much.
Pretty much.
Hey,
Yeah.
I got something real quick before we move on from the underground people and lizards and Elvis and all that good stuff. I
Elvis
was
is
curious.
preaching at a church now. You didn't know that?
Yeah,
In
oh yeah, I
Vegas.
saw that. Yeah, got a whole lot of shaking going on, man. Oh, mama. But anyway, it says according to recent data, there are approximately 45,000 caves within the United States, and then Tennessee is number one. It says Tennessee leads with about 10,000 caves. Missouri, number two, it's actually nicknamed the Cave State, has around 7,300 caves. Alabama has approximately 4,000 caves. Kentucky, 3,000. Indiana contains about 2,500. Virginia has around 2,000. West Virginia, 1,500. And good old Georgia comes in at number 8. At number 8 on the top 10 cave countdown. It says Georgia has approximately 1,000 caves.
Wow. Well, wait a minute. Is Florida even on that list?
It's got to be further down.
No, it's probably for it only gives me the top 8
because it only have to be like upper state and panhandle area. Anything further south is swamps
Right.
and Everglade junk stuff.
Well, there is a ton of caves in Florida. Like a
Well,
ton.
you're talking about the freshwater caves, right? The springs or whatever it
You're
is.
basically
Freshwater, yeah.
diving in this, yes, the springs.
Oh, they're so massive, people die. If you're not, they say if you're not an experienced diver, do not attempt to go in there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know they've roped it off. They've done different things to help people to get back out, but even experienced divers have never come back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your forte, brother. You know all about that.
Yeah. So Joe, you're talking about the 45,000 caves, And so what was interesting about that was, each one of these, it was kind of like an idea or concept. These are entrances into the underground, like natural. We don't have to dig anywhere. It's just already a hole in the ground to get
Right.
under the
Right.
ground. And so when you really look at that, what could be underneath your feet? Well, 45,000 caves, anything. Those are the man-made access to the ground. And Kyle, you're talking about owning ground. What I want to know is, how do you buy underground land? Like, is it still sold by acre? Is it, like, do you have to go like to Zillow to get underground? Like, I want to buy some underground acres. How do you
It,
do that?
you literally have to go to the municipalities, and you have to look into mineral rights and all kind of stuff like that.
So
Yes.
I can buy the Cave of Wonders, is what you're saying.
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay, and then but on a serious note, like, how? I mean, what would even be the cost of that if the land on top? Let's say the land you live on is 10,000 an acre. What would the land underneath you be that you like? Is it would it be more valuable, less valuable? I don't. You know what I
Well,
mean?
the first thing, well, that depends on what's there at
Mhm.
first. Secondly,
Yep.
it's gonna be determined by who even owns it.
That's what I'm saying. How do you even buy underground land? Like, what agency do you got to go to CIA?
So there's a lot of investigating that has to go into this, because supposedly unclaimed land is essentially just kind of becomes property of the United States corporation.
Hmm.
So that's why you have to really. It's why we have the education system that we have. Is to dumb everybody down and get everybody looking in another direction, so that all the things that really have value, nobody even really knows to look into.
So you said
Mhm.
dumb everyone down. Speaking of dumb, that's
Mm.
the acronym for deep underground military bases.
Yeah, there you go.
Dumb everybody
They're
down,
just putting it
right?
right in front of you. Hey, Dom.
You dumb? But
Ta-da!
when we talk about these bases, I know the one, real popular one is the one in Cheyenne Mountain Complex, and that's been on the news. They've done documentaries on it. It's the one, where
Mhm.
they built it out in Colorado, and it's like 60 feet tall, like the height of the tunnels, and they drive full 18-wheeler trucks in there. This is
Mhm.
where they have like the everybody military and missiles and nuke stuff. All the special stuff is there,
That's
and
the continuity of government place, right?
yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
backup, but supposed to last forever backup to the
Yeah.
backup. And with that, you're gonna get a lot of interesting stuff. It's 2,000 feet under the ground, under granite. So they were like, it's literally like you're not gonna ever get to it unless you can, fly into the front or something.
That's a
And
big kitchen counter.
that's a hungry boy. But yeah, it's just amazing to see like that's been. I mean, that place is not new. This isn't this these things we're talking about. These caves that Joe's bringing up, Kyle's bringing up. These things are like old. Like, they've been around for a long time,
Mhm.
and they've been in use for a long time. So if we're finding out about it, and it's been there since the 50s, 60s, 70s, and we're
Mhm.
50, 70 years ago, when they were like already underneath the ground with their little flashlight on the helmet. They're just having a good time, and we're just going about our business, driving to work, and all while there's a whole city going on underneath you and military stuff going on. And that mountain complex, they've even realigned it to now Space Force. So that one is what kind of blew my mind. So you've got not
Hmm.
only on the earth, you've got under the earth, that's now responsible agency is Space Force, which is supposedly
That's
above
funny.
the earth.
That's funny.
So Kyle, to your point, you got to own under the ground, and the air above it. I was like, that is, out of all the places, I was like, that should be an army place. It's the ground, right? Where the ground stuff's
Mhm.
happening. No,
Wow.
Space Force owns the tunnels and the
That's
caves.
crazy. Mm. Unreal. Oh, how about this one? So I can't remember if we've discussed this or not, but are you guys familiar with like the tunnels in California for like LA area for all the movie stars and stuff?
Hmm.
So it doesn't look like Joe's familiar with that. So apparently underneath like Los Angeles or lots of areas in California, there's an underground network that was built just for all the celebrities that live out there, so that they can go to and from places without having to interact with the public. Like they can be completely underground. Like they have normal businesses like Starbucks and all this other stuff underground where they can stop and get stuff. Yeah, like with employees that come in all the time, and yeah, and it's just for the quote unquote elite and celebrities and that sort of stuff, so they don't have to interact with the public. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
You know, another place that has crazy tunnels for no reason, but for a good reason, is at Disney World, Disneyland. And it's so that way they can get people from one side of the park to the other, especially like the people in the costumes, because you can't have Mickey just
Yeah.
Going to the bathroom and the the next to the kids just got off the the ride throwing up.
Right.
So Mickey gets to go underground and walk himself to wherever he needs to be in the park, and they have lots of things that happen underneath there for different
Yeah.
reasons and purposes. But yeah, all the big national parks like that, or the amusement parks, excuse me, they've got big tunnels, and so the more that you start thinking about it, why so many tunnels? And then the other one they were talking about is I know Elon was working on that. Was it the Boring Company? Which is a hilarious name. I love the name of that. It's boring, but then like bore under the ground,
Yeah.
boring.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to make these underground highways, and I think they've been successful. I mean, they're trying to use the practicality of it. It's like one lane, and it's like guided essentially, but um, everything is starting to work that direction. So it makes you wonder, like, why the push is. We love the world we live in, and God created it for us. He didn't say, Adam, here's your cave. Good luck to only come to the surface when you have to. It was, hey, I put you in the garden on the land, and you can have everything in the land. And we're like, no, no, no. Let's go live underground where there's no green stuff, no life, no nothing but rocks and dirt and sand. That's a good plan. It's like sometimes I wonder what the human is doing.
It don't make a lot of sense, man.
Unless you're hiding or doing something wrong, or I guess you just need more space. Maybe,
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe they're just really big basements. It's like America's basement. Everything, the video games are in the basement, the movie room, the man cave. Maybe that's all it is.
Well, I mean, I do. I get that, when you build a facility like a Disney World or a Six Flags or something like that, I get that you don't want to have all the plumbing and stuff, out in the public eye. And you don't want to have to try to hide it with stuff. It's just easier to have your infrastructure, all your electrical, all your water, all your everything underground. And for employees to move in and out without having to deal with crowds and all that. I get that. I get that. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It just always seems to be used for nefarious purposes also.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I'm sure good intentions, like you said.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, what can we do about it?
Nothing. Oh, you know what you can do? Get the hose and just turn it on,
Get the hose
and just leave it on. Yep, just let them out.
blow them out. There you go.
You just gave me a visual of Bill Murray and Caddyshack trying to flush out the gopher out the hole. Gonna get you, rascally rabbit.
I'm gonna get you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you do that? You talk to the
I
side of
do,
the
do,
streets.
yeah, you do a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
Little
this
bit.
content's great.
Yes.
I want to go out. And get flowers and golf
that
club
was
right now.
that literally was the climax of the movie because he's out there literally blowing up the entire golf course trying to get this gopher.
Oh man, that was fantastic. Good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Elon Musk, the what do you call it? The mascot for that company. The what you call it?
The Boring Company.
The Boring Company is this.
Oh,
We're the Boring Company.
Nice.
Anyway.
Well, speaking of useless spending, and
wait, there's more?
inflation and all that kind
But
of
wait, there's more.
I heard I saw a video the other day. I just thought I would share this with you guys. So when we were talking about Hollywood and LA and all that stuff, it reminded me of this video that I saw. So this lady took the time to actually break down what it looked like. You remember the movie Home Alone? Macaulay Culkin, all that kind of good stuff, like the
Oh, yeah.
original one, right? Okay. So he goes to the grocery store and he buys himself like all the stuff for a Thanksgiving dinner and whatnot, right? Well, he's got
It would've
like
been-
he's got at least 2 grocery bags
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking there was more than that, but he's got at least two. And he's walking back home with the grocery bags, and they fall out. He has the whole deal.
Yeah,
Well, anyway,
he has a moment.
he has a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they took the time. That some lady took the time to break down. So apparently, in 1990, when that movie came out, he spent $19.83 on all that stuff that he bought. Right. Well, this lady took the time to go to the grocery store and try to get all the same items. Now, she wasn't able to get identically all the same items because some of the items just was not available, but she matched most of them and did a pretty good comparison type product for replacing the ones that she couldn't get. Anyway, she matched what he bought and purchased that stuff. And in today's dollars, that same stuff, that same amount of stuff that he bought for $19.83 back in 1990 would cost and this was in 2024 prices, $55.99.
Yeah, he would have been going hungry, or he
Yeah.
wouldn't have he would
He
have
wouldn't have,
been leaving with a little bag.
yeah, he would definitely wouldn't have got his little plastic toy soldiers,
Yep.
and
Exactly.
they played a big part in the movie. So
Well, the way things are
he
going,
wasn't
well, I wonder
sacrificed.
what it would be 2025. That'd probably be about $65. I'm gonna throw another $10 on that.
Probably. I mean, good gracious, and he would have had to check himself out. So
Well, what's funny too is Trump is in that movie as well. That's funny
Yeah.
Oh, Trump is in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
because I believe he asked
Hmm.
Trump where the bathroom is or something like that as he's walking through. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Was that
It's
that was the
all
first one, not the
coming.
second one, right? Yeah, that was the first one.
Should have been
Crap.
the first one, I think. I don't know. It's in one. It might have been the second one.
I think it was because he was in New York, and that's why
New
Trump
York.
was in the
That's right.
movie.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was
Okay.
in like Trump Tower or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but even still, I mean, the price of stuff. I mean, because you said that first number was like $19. So you can imagine. Hey, I got a $20 bill. I found a $20 bill. I pulled a 20 out of mom's purse. Don't do that, but that stuff happens. And you got your 20. You go to the store and you're like, man, I can handle some business. I can get some stuff done. If you need to go to the mail, the post office and mail something off, get some food, get a couple gallons in the tank. Your $20 is getting you somewhere. It's like
Yeah.
today you're like, no, you're not getting the gas. Don't mail anything, and you might have enough food for you and maybe one other person. Don't try to make dinner for company. Don't invite anybody over that night unless you're having Crystal Light and microwave dinners or something. You got to keep it on super
That would
cheap.
be ramen, baby.
I was trying to upgrade a little bit, just a little.
Oh,
You get the Salisbury steak
that's,
4-pack. Yeah, I got you
you
guys on
might,
that one.
yeah, you might want to beat that one with a hammer for a while though. Get that. That's like a $2 steak.
A little meat disc. It's all right. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, yeah.
They were flavorful back then.
Hey, you know what? When it hit the spot, it hit the spot. It was a change up. As long as it wasn't those little like kid cuisines with like the little fake brownie thing that was in there and the apples or whatever, those were always bad. They were cool
Dude.
because they were fun, and then they were tasty terrible.
Since we're on a little nostalgia trip here, let me just tell you something. TV dinners when I was a kid in the 80s were horrible. They looked nothing like the picture. And I always went for the dessert first, and they made the dessert look like it was like the best thing ever, whether it was a peach cobbler or anything like that. And I just remember being a kid and we'd get our little TV dinners and it would come out half burnt anyway. Didn't look any, and the mashed potatoes would be all half, it would be this hard crust around the mashed potatoes
Mm-hmm.
where it dried out too much.
Yep.
And then the dessert part looks like it's just disintegrated. You're like, yeah,
Did you poke the
yeah.
holes in the film though? Or
Hey, mama did all that stuff. I have no idea, but yeah, I just remember that was probably the most horrible meal you could ever have as a TV dinner.
And the worst part was they weren't really cheap either. It was supposed to be like a cheap alternative. What it was quick.
Those-
It was easy,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it wasn't cheap. Those things were actually expensive.
Well, you think about all the energy it took too to throw everybody's into the oven because you weren't microwaving them back then. Everything was in the oven, so you're now
Ooh.
using either your gas or your electric to heat up
Right.
this cheap meal that's gonna look like garbage
Alp,
by the time it's finished.
little Alpo.
Yeah,
All right. So I remember, were y'all the kids too that had the poster of the Lamborghini on the wall when you were growing up?
yeah, yeah.
I was. Most kids,
Well,
at least in our
my
generation.
poster actually had the Lamborghini, Corvette, Ferrari. It was like a garage with all the different ones in there.
Ah,
That's
Yeah, that's
Spider-Man.
the one I had.
well, I had a Diablo with the doors raised,
Oh,
you know,
nice.
on my wall. Well,
Was it red?
no,
Oh,
It's yellow.
actually, it was purple.
nice. That was a nice one. I like that one.
But anyway, so back then, I remember like finding out, how much would it cost to buy a Lamborghini, and you could buy any Lamborghini, even though like top of the line, whatever, for around $100,000 back then.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, I was like, man, I'm gonna grow up and like, why do many people not own these? Like, I'm gonna get me, a job making good money and da 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 da, and I'm gonna buy me a Lamborghini, right? Like that was my thing. It's just $100,000. I mean, that's a lot of money, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I didn't think that was a ton of money. Well, I was a kid too, I mean, come on. So that was where my head was at. Nowadays, you can make $100,000 a year and not afford a Lamborghini.
Right.
That blows my mind. The starting price of a Lamborghini today. Now, we're not going to talk about any collectibles that are worth way more than this. Okay, we're just going to talk about current brand new models. They have like this something called a Urus, which I think is like a
Like the SUV looking one.
yeah. I mean, it looks like a cracked out Prius or something. I don't know. Just whatever. It's their bottom of the barrel, right? And it starts at 275,000, or excuse me, 240. Okay, no, it does start at 275. Starting at 275,000. And then the Lamborghini Revolto starts at 608,000.
That's pocket
Plus,
change.
plus.
Pocket
Yeah.
change.
So,
And that's just to buy it. That's not the maintenance. That's nothing. That's not
Right.
insurance.
right, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
Right. Oil change like $10,000.
Crazy. So I don't know. I guess what I'm getting at is this: like, there's a huge disconnect between the various generations that are out there right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we were growing up, like I remember looking at like humongous houses and being like, "Oh, these are $100,000 plus houses," and being like, "Man, those things are massive." A buddy of mine just bought a house. I'm not kidding you. Less than an acre. Like literally just bought it 2 days ago. They haven't closed on it yet. Under an acre. Less than 1,000 square feet. But it does have a shop building in the back too. So it's got a garage building, a separate building. But the house itself, less than 1,000 square feet. 3-bedroom, 1 bath.
320.
480.
And it was a significantly older house too. But $227,000. Bruh. That blows my mind. That is unreal to me. So, I mean, I get the fact that there's a lot of like social disconnects between the multiple generations that are out there right now. There's a lot of things that people don't click on, and there's always going to be that disconnect between, the new slang versus the old stuff and music, what was good music then and what is considered music nowadays. There's always going to be that disconnect with every generation, right? But when it comes to the inflation factor, a lot of people look at these newer generations like they're just lazy. I don't think they're as lazy as we think they are. I think they're defeated. I think the way that they think, the only way that they think they're going to be able to get ahead or even be able to maintain is if they somehow become famous on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, because they just don't see themselves being able to really make anything other than just getting by,
Right.
barely getting by off of any kind of salary, from a job out there. Like, I think they feel like they're just completely defeated before they even get started. It's ridiculous. Can you imagine? I, dude, I wouldn't even know where to begin if I felt like I had to start. Like, imagine the first house you're buying being $275,000 or $227,000, under 1,000 square feet. Like,
And that's local. That's our area is a low cost area.
yeah,
California, that same house would be 500,000 easy.
yeah. And this is just in a little. I wouldn't call it rural. It is a growing area that this was done in, but it's not like big city, nothing like that. It's not out on the island. It's not on. It's not waterfront. None of that. Like, it just, I don't know. Just blows my mind.
Well, one of the things I always enjoy because I like looking at money and markets and stuff like that is looking at those charts of like back in the '60s you would make this much money and then your house would be this much money, so it was this much percentage of your salary went to housing, went to this, went to that,
Yeah,
and it was always like the math was there was like logic behind it. It was okay, everybody was able to afford their house. That's why when you read the books, you go back and watch movies and stuff, you're like, oh, everybody lived in a house and everybody was taking care of their, not everybody obviously, but for the most part, it like made sense. Your work went into like what you got out of it. And then it was like then another chart in the '80s, and they were showing, well, how much you make your salary versus how much it costs to live, and then there was a bigger gap. And then today it's like it said it's the biggest gap it's ever been. The wages are increasing slower and slower, but the inflation is going higher and higher. So the gap between what you need versus what you make is it's undoable. There's not even, oh, just save for a couple years, or oh just it's like you have to have two incomes to make it. You have to have all these concessions and have to make all these changes that you're like, hey, this is what I dreamed of, but I guess I'm just gonna have to settle for A or B, or and now you can't even rent. Renting is almost more than just getting a house, and somehow you have to magically get 20% so you don't have PMI for the rest of your life. It's crazy, Kyle. Like I said, I'm watching some of these numbers and trying to help people out, and they're like, hey, Jonathan, you did it. How'd you do it? I was like, I'm a little bit older than you. That's it, because I don't know what today would look like if I had to start today in today's world making
right.
minimum wage. Like, I don't even know if you can. Like, back in the day was tough, but today I'm like, what would minimum wage wouldn't even pay for gas and Netflix.
Exactly. Exactly. Dude, I remember when I was 16. Oh, and you think about all the kids that don't even want to drive now. Like, they're like, they're waiting until they're 18, 21,
If that,
sometimes
yeah.
25 before they're even thinking about getting a driver's license nowadays. Are you kidding me? Like, that blows my mind. Like, the the first, I mean, the minute I turned 16, I was at the DMV waiting to get my license. You know what I mean?
Right,
And had already paid cash for my vehicle. You
right.
know?
They had you in there. Read the letters on line 7, please.
Yeah. So yeah. So I don't know. It blows my mind, but I mean it does make sense now. It's like they don't have money for a car, they don't have money for insurance, they don't have money for gas. Like, I remember when I was 16, dude, I had spending money. We had cruising money. We
Mm.
had money to be able to go spend money on your girlfriend and go back and forth to work, get to eat a few times a week on some have some fast food or whatever, and have money to go blow on the weekend, cruising up and down, just wasting gas for no reason.
Yeah, but we talked about this a little bit, Kyle. I think the problem with that too is the fact that kids, everything they do is online. From their phones, computers, to video games. It's sad, but a lot of their interaction is online. So a lot of them, like when we were younger, to go interact, you had to go somewhere. And
Mhm.
I'm older than both of you guys, so I'm 54 years old. So I'm in that same boat. I know, man. Oh boy. But yeah, I remember. Hey, I was the same boat when I was 16 years old. Hey, I'm ready. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
And so I was driving at a very young age. And why? Because if you wanted to go see your friends, you had to go use either bicycle, skateboard, or if you were lucky enough to have a car, that was our way of being. Because look, my mom would tell me that her generation would say, we have a place out here called Rivers Avenue. And back in the 60s and 70s, apparently that was the place to be because everyone would cruise up and down Rivers Avenue, Highway 52. They'd go over to the Burger King, the Hardee's, and they'd all hang out. So that literally was their Friday night. They'd all be just cruising up and down the road in their
Right.
cars.
So that's where
Today,
global
kids
warming
don't have that.
started.
Yeah, I know, right?
And you didn't have to
Went
worry
from
about
all the
nobody shooting nobody,
no.
or at least
And
not
so
like it is today
today,
anyway.
a lot of those kids, I think, are like, well, I want to go do something. Mom and dad will just take me, and their social interaction is mostly it's online. So there's no incentive there for you to,
But it
you
costs
know,
so much to do anything now, though.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
going on a date's $50. And that's just a normal restaurant. If you get 2 entrees, a dessert, and a drink, you're at
yeah.
$50.
If you biggie size it, you're out of money. You know,
No upsize. No, she's fine. She's fine. Ice water.
I don't want the big gulp. No, 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 no. I don't have money for that.
Dude, I remember not it wasn't too terribly long ago. Like I had a switch flip in my brain. Like it blew me away. I was it's been a while since I've eaten at a fast food restaurant, so it's been a little while, I guess. It wasn't like a couple of weeks ago or anything, but I stopped at a fast food restaurant and I ordered for me and my wife, and they told me the total, and I'm like, wait,
Can I
what?
guess? Can I guess? I don't even know where you ate it. Can I guess real quick? Was it 25 or more?
No, but it was very close to that.
Okay, okay.
So
That's just for me to go out and eat fast food. So that's why I was, between both
good
y'all.
Lord. so, so, so I hear that and I'm like, can you read that order back to me again? And they read it back. I'm like, and that's the total? And I'm like, and my first thought was, man, we could go eat steak for this price. Like, why are we paying this at a fast food restaurant? Like, we could go to, a sit down meal and eat for this price. And then I got to thinking about it, I'm like, wait, no, I can't. No.
Not anymore. Yeah.
You
But
can.
I remember a time when you could, I mean, my gosh, you could go to Applebee's and get down like on the super cheap, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But
Chili's 2 for $20. I used to kill those.
Yep.
Cheddar's,
Well,
man, oh, all them
yeah.
places on a
Well, I
cheap.
remember when you didn't bring it up, but I was assuming maybe it was Taco Bell, but
No, it was no.
but I remember Taco Bell back in the day. If you had only pocket, like you could literally go get pocket change, go
Oh
find a
yeah,
couple bucks somewhere. Yeah, you walk away with a drink and at least 3 tacos out of that. And then the day, no, that for 3 tacos and a drink's $10. I'm like,
I know, right? Like a taco was 59 cents, bro.
yep,
Right.
yep,
59 cents for a taco.
yep.
Dude, you could buy food for all your friends with $10 at Taco Bell.
I don't even think you can get extra sour cream for 59 cents.